Hello everyone, welcome to this Options Talk episode 50. It's been quite a journey. All like I tweeted recently, we started on 31st May 2020, and we have skipped only twice. Both, of course, because of our conferences. One was DECNOC and one was DECMA. But apart from that, we have been quite regular, and today we are here. It's some kind of a historic occasion with the 50th episode. Since we are all in the stock market playing with numbers, so statistics always holds a place in everyone's heart. So that's why 50 is important. So anyway, welcome back and straight to the charts. I had talked about a dip. There was a dip, but it was only 200 points. And since it is extremely bullish, that is what I have been talking about since last 3 4 weeks. It bounced immediately, and it seems the bullishness still continues. So as long as this low, which is uh, 15, you can say 15,600, worst case 15,500. This bull run is still intact, and it has to be a buy on dips. So there is no question of shorting. A lot of people had showed me some hidden divergence, RSI. That is not the way to trade the market, because you might spot a divergence which works maybe once in 5 or once in 10 times, but you are missing the trend. That is the biggest thing. By looking at divergence, you are just missing out on the trend. And to be honest, for me, whoever I have met over the last so many years, and I know so well, I have met hundreds of people. Those people who talk about divergences, it seems that they have missed out on longs because they were always bearish. They had a bearish bias, and they are just looking for something to go short. And that is not the way it works. Even if there is divergence, you have to wait for a confirmation on the price. Divergence is not the trigger to go short. It has to be below some level. So as far as this is, and it doesn't mean you can see what happens is with divergence, people tend to look at it right at the top, and that is some kind of a fashionable thing to short at the top and buy at the low and all that. But in trend following, even if it is 150, 200, 250, 300 points lower to the top, that's fine. But then after that, you are shorting with a confirmed trend. So right now you are only just guessing. So right now there is nothing bearish in this market. So I won't even look at any divergence. Only below maybe 15,500. That is the only level I can see. Intraday, fine. I mean, I remember I had tweeted the TOI chart yesterday, but that was intraday or maybe couple of days. TOI is not a signal which gives a positional signal for many weeks. It is just for a couple of days, maybe 2 3 days, and it finds all twists and turns in the market every 2 3 days. So that is what it is all about. So that is not something which you can use for positional in terms of few week shorting, and people immediately another 100 point, 200 point drop, and people start about talk about 1,000 points drop and all that. That is all for TV analysts and other people. So let's not get into that. For trend following, it is still bullish, and respect the trend. So like this chart says, this is an hourly chart of Nifty futures. This gap which is there, the high of that gap was 15,632, and the low 2 days back was 15,635. So as long as that is held, there is no question of going short. Even in the EOD chart of point and figure, I have been talking about the breakout from 14,970, and now we are 800 points higher, 700 points higher, and that is still intact. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see 15 closer to 15,900 or maybe even 16,000 this week or maybe in June. That is how strong the trend is, because you might have noticed how stocks and sectors are changing. They are rotating. Sometimes Bank Nifty is weak, but Reliance pulls the market. Sometimes some other stocks. Sometimes Tata Steel comes out of the blue. Sometimes IT stocks do it. So unless all of those sectors become weak or take a pause, there is no question of any bearishness. Only sign of worry. It's not a worry. It's just a caution as far as Bank Nifty is concerned. This chart, this is a Bank Nifty relative strength chart. This still doesn't appear bullish to me. Of course, it is bullish in the sense from the low it is bullish, but this is sort of sideways movement, which means the Nifty stocks less the Bank Nifty stocks will be taking the lead, and Bank Nifty might remain sideways. But even in Bank Nifty, you might have seen how PSU banks are outperforming. There have been some PSU banks which are just did, I mean, amazingly well. SBI itself, I've been tracking from what I think it was 360 2 weeks back, or maybe even lower. Now it is at 440. So that is a huge run up for a stock like SBI. Axis, ICICI, these stocks rise and then get sold intraday. Again, same thing happened with Axis. I think it went to some almost 760 yesterday and got sold off by 20 rupees. And this is apparent from this Bank Nifty relative strength chart. So unless this turns, uh, it is going to be a bit risky taking positional longs in banking stocks, especially the private banks. Maybe that might change. Who knows? We can see that later. On the EOD chart of Nifty spot, like I said, everything is still bullish. It's a good, even though it was a red candle, it is still a bullish higher high, higher low, and this gap on the spot is at 15,597. So, which let's say it's around 15,590, 15,600. So, as long as Nifty is closing above that, it is all bullish. Let me look at the Bank Nifty chart. Yeah, this is the only. This is not weak at all. This is just that Bank Nifty doesn't have the strength to keep powering up. In fact, these are two very big bullish candles over here. This every few days there is a green candle and then couple of red. So again, we had a red yesterday, which people might say it is a bearish engulfing. Yes, compared to the previous day, it was a bearish engulfing. But then this is not yet a bearish pattern for me. Just one day doesn't make it bearish. Only thing is the follow up is required, so we need to go above this 35,810 top maybe in the next couple of days. Again, the US market has closed very strong yesterday, so if that continues, we might cross it on Monday itself. Another chart which is Bank Nifty hourly chart of futures. This is again, this is getting sold off every time it rises, but this is definitely not a bearish chart for me. This is still making higher highs and higher lows. So unless this low, which is at 35,100, that is broken, Bank Nifty is still bullish, very much bullish. So any thoughts of divergence and all that will be only below 35,100. Now, coming to three stocks which in fact, I tweeted yesterday. One stock which caught my eye was Tata Steel. I was looking at the 1100 put. Yesterday, it gave a good anchor column in the morning, but after that, it started getting sold off. And in the process, it is making lower highs and lower lows. So that's what prompted me to look at the Tata Steel slightly out of the money, 1140 call. Now, this is shaping up to be a possibly good trade if this gives a follow through above this 45-degree trend line, which is near 30, let's say, if it crosses 30, 32 with a stop loss below 24. This can go towards 50, and who knows, it might go towards 80 also. So this is one stock which can be kept on watch. Another stock which did very well yesterday towards the end was Tata Motors. This, for me, this is a 3% chart of 350 call, which is not very much out of the money. It is out of the money, but nearest out of the money. This was making a base here. It is like a pattern retest. After that, good bullish columns and a good anchor column yesterday. So this, which is right now near 9.7, this can go all the way to 19 or 20. So this Tata Motors is something which should be kept on the watch list going forward. Third stock is TCS. In fact, uh, it's just a coincidence that all three Tata Group companies are coming on the screen. But here, though it is not yet a confirmation, this bullish anchor column has been negated because the price went below that. But this is some sort of a base for me. And if it gives a follow through double top by above 47 now, the stop loss is very tight, just 40. So just a 7-8 rupees stop loss on a TCS call is not even 2,500 rupees. The lot size is 300. Then the first target will be around 55, and who knows, you might get 90 in this expiry. Because typically, I have seen whenever the stock becomes very bullish, it can go to the highs which were created previously, which is the last month. Everyone saw how I had talked about the SBI call, that 400 call in May. So always look at the left hand side of the chart. Whatever the levels created in the previous month, those also act. So this 50 and then 60. So if it crosses 55, 60, you can get maybe 90 in this Tata Steel, sorry, TCS. So Tata Steel, Tata Motors, TCS are the three stocks to watch out for, not only for the next week, but I would say for the whole of June. So that's all from my side. Raghunath, anything from your side?
Just wanted to note that the Nifty is making all-time highs, but Bank
Yeah.
Nifty didn't even touch its all-time high.
No, in fact, why Bank Nifty? That is another reason why people are getting bearish. Forget Bank Nifty. Even Sensex has not yet made the all-time high, which it had crossed. I mean, the high which it made in February. I don't think that has been crossed yet. Of course, we don't have the chart, but I was looking yesterday, and it has not yet crossed the February high. So that's why people are talking about the divergence.
Yes, yes. It's perhaps due to the composition of the
Yeah,
Sensex.
so who knows? In fact, another way of looking at it is if Nifty is decisively above the previous all-time high, which means it's just a matter of time. Sensex will do that,
Sensex.
which means whichever stocks are not heavyweight in Nifty but heavyweight in Sensex. In fact, one stock which comes to my mind is ICICI Bank. There might be others, or maybe some stocks which are not in Nifty but in Sensex. They might run up now. So that can be a good research and then to be watched for in the coming days.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, that's all. That's all from me.
So you're going to talk about straddle shorts, right?
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of people have been asking for that, so it's good you're talking about that today. So
Yeah.
over to you.
Thank you. Hello, guys. So today I will be talking about short straddle and the adjustments in that strategy. Standard disclaimer: a short straddle involves selling of at-the-money call option and put option. It's perhaps the most simple strategy that you might see, and usually it has around 50 to 55% pop when initiated. Pop is probability of profit. Even weekly options can be used in short straddle, and I think this many people have been doing intraday also with weekly options using the short straddle strategy. Uh, it's largely a delta neutral or non-directional strategy. This is a short volatility strategy. The ideal time to enter short straddles is when volatility is very high, because the premiums are rich when the volatility is very high, and therefore it's much more favorable to do short straddles during that time. It benefits from time decay and volatility crash. And obviously, because we are using at the money options, which have the highest extrinsic premium, and therefore have the highest theta decay or time decay, and therefore they're they have very ideal for that kind of scenario. And also because we are collecting a lot of premium, and there is also we'll also benefit when there is a volatility crash. Short straddles have high margin requirements, and these are undefined risk strategies, and therefore this should not be attempted by new traders if they don't understand what they are dealing with. Because if you're a positional short straddle trader, then there can be overnight gap risks with these short straddles. So that one has to keep in mind before attempting such a strategy. I would actually suggest to go with iron fly instead of short straddle, because of the risk defined nature of that iron fly. Short straddles are ideal when market is range bound, and this is we know. So this is a typical short straddle, and as you can see, I said the probability of profit is around 50 to 55%, and the margin requirement is very high, because if you do the same strategy with the same short strikes as 50,000, 15,700, and then you buy wings in the case of iron fly, this requirement goes to 70, 80,000. So there is a huge margin benefit in doing the risk defined strategies as opposed to a short straddle or a short strangle. The maximum profit is when the underlying price expires at this short strike price. So if it exactly expires the underlying, but here, that's when you have the max profit. Maximum loss is undefined because you have two short options. So obviously the risk is not defined there. And the break even is simply short strike and the credit received. So on the upper break even, you add the credit received to the short strike, which is 15,700. Then you get the upper break even. Now for the lower break even, you subtract the net credit received from the short strike. You get the lower break even. Short straddle benefits when underlying stays range bound within the break evens and when there is a decrease in implied volatility. That is a volatility crash. Many people also use this strategy when they have to capture volatility crash just after earnings results are declared in the FNO stocks. So that is one strategy which is used there to capture the volatility crash. And short straddle suffers when the underlying moves in one direction and, continuously, and when there is an increase in implied volatility. And that is why you have to, as I said, we can do these short straddles when this volatility is very high. But you have to remember that you have to do this when volatility is very high, but the volatility is coming down. From the high, it is coming down, not when volatility is going up. So that is one distinction you have to remember when you do these short straddles, because you will have the risk of implied volatility. If you are doing short straddle when the volatility is very high and it's in a trending, if the VIX is trending, then you will be in trouble. And finally, there is gamma risk. In the last week of expiry, you have this gamma risk because the delta can increase in one direction very fast, taking you into loss very quickly. The entry rules are very simple. For monthly options, 30 to 40 days to expiry of front month option. For weekly options, 10 days to expiry of weekly options. Again, high implied volatility, so IV percentile should be above 70 ideally. Now sell at the money call options or the put up at the call money call option and put option. Exit rules is target 25 to 50% of initial max profit. So if you want to manage your trades very early, then go with 25%. Otherwise, you can go with 50% of initial max profit. In the same way, if you're using 25 as target, use 25 as your stop loss, and 50-50 if you're using the target and stop loss. So if none of the above hits, exit on Friday or Monday before expiry date to avoid gamma risk. So adjustments, there are several adjustments that you can do with a short straddle. Here I'll speak only about two of them. So you adjust when the underlying moves in one direction and it breaches the 25 positional delta, or when the break even and stop loss is not hit yet. Okay, and after you do a adjustment, after a 25 positional delta is hit and you do a adjustment, then if again the 25 delta breaches, you have to do adjustment only if this happens, if there is at least 10 days of expiry is left in the strategy. If it is happening after, if there is less than 10 days to left to expiry, then don't do that adjustment. Then you keep waiting till the short strike is breached. I will talk about that when I talk about adjustments. So in the first adjustment, we roll up or roll down the untested call or put option. So straightforward one. In order to collect more credit, and therefore give more time to the strategy to to come into our profit zone. And when you do this kind of adjustment, it makes the short straddle into an inverted triangle. And then adjust only when the short strike is threatened. Okay, if you once you do adjustment, then the next adjustment do only when there is a the short strike is breached again. Otherwise, don't do another adjustment. Adjustment 2 is start with, so this is a positional size based adjustment. So let's say your position size of 2 straddles or 3 straddles or 4, 5, whatever. So in that case, what you do is that you start with only one short straddle, and then you wait to add additional straddles unless your break even is about to be breached on the first short straddle. Or you can use some other kind of breach as well. For example, you can also use 25 positional delta breach to add the second straddle. So it's totally up to you. Now, the third one is the move the straddle with the underlying. So let's say if the straddle breaches 25 positional delta, then what you do is that you simply move the whole straddle to that to the at the money position. Okay, so you keep on moving, like that. That is one way to do the adjustment. And the final is roll out further out in time. So, for example, you do an adjustment after 25 positional data is breached, but it is the underlying is moving in the same direction. And in that case, what you can do is that you can borrow some more time and give some more time to the trade by simply rolling out this short straddle to the next expiry. Okay. So those are the 4 adjustment methods that you can use. Okay. So let's do a simulation on this, on how this happens. Okay. Option simulator. So we do for May expiry, always choose Friday before the previous month's expiry. So we put as 320 as our time point check, and then at the money call option and short put option. So this one 50 delta will be the at the money call option and at the money put option. Okay, so here almost 60,000 is our max profit. So if you are using 30,000, 50% stop loss, then 30,000 is stop loss and target. And if you are using 25%, then 15,000 will be the stop loss and target. So keep that in mind. So whenever there is a 25 delta breach, then we do the adjustment. Okay. Okay, now there is a 25 delta breach. So we roll up our put option. So we cover put option 192.4. Okay. So when we do that, we get, if you look at the Greeks, now the Greeks is minus 67. Okay. So it's not important to neutralize all the delta, but try to get under 15 or something like that. So we can use around 15,000 as our when we roll up, because if we use too much in the money options, then then you will not have enough extrinsic premium. So your max profit will become very less if you use too deep in the money put options when you do the adjustment after the positional delta breach. So now its positional delta is minus 11, so I'm fine. So in the next one, we only do the adjustment when this short strike is threatened. Okay, so nothing is happening. Okay, here it's 25 deltas breached, but still I'm not doing because I want to wait till that 15,000 short strike has breached. So now the profit is around 13,000, close to 25%. If you're using that as a target, okay. Now imagine here that 25% is your target. Then this is a good time to exit. You manage your trades very early. And the moment you see 25% target, you exit. That's it. Your trade is done for the month. But let's say, imagine you are waiting for your 50% or till your time loss exit is there. So let me check here. So it didn't breach here. So okay, here it has breached. So now we have to do the adjustment again. The put one under 6.4. So we cover it. And then if you look at the Greeks, it's minus 91. So it has become too deep in the money, the call option. So now obviously the short strike should be above what we are going to short. So we choose 15,300 in this case. So it should be above your option price. I mean underlying price. Okay. So now, so don't worry about positional delta anymore. So we are only worried about if short strike is breached. Okay. So now it's around 13,000 and so we pretty much reached our time stop loss here, right? We said on Friday or on the Monday just before the expiry. So at this point in time, we can simply book this profit and be done with it. There is nothing more to do here. Okay. Now let's do with the other method. Okay. Again, we use the same time point.
Raghunath, one question.
Yeah.
From my experience, whenever I talk about straddles, angles, like you, I also give examples of Nifty. The standard question which I get asked more often is, what about Bank Nifty?
Bank Nifty, yeah, it's pretty much you can do the same in Bank Nifty as well. I mean,
Yeah,
there
but it moves. The moves in Bank Nifty are quite big, so it's you need to be experienced. Number one, right?
Yes, and also you should you might require more adjustments than
Exactly.
Nifty because of volatility.
So newcomers should not touch Bank Nifty. That is what I always talk about.
Yes, definitely not. And because you will not get Bank Nifty, you will not get liquidity beyond 30 days.
Yes, that is also this. Correct.
That's also there. And Nifty, you get good liquidity and you can get up to 40-45 days as well. So that's the reason I stick to Nifty in this case.
Yeah.
So we start again on 23rd April. So this is the second method where we add, another position in case the break even has breached. Okay, again 14,400. Now there might be some advantage here when we do with second position, and I will tell with another example. Maybe not this month expiry, some other expiry. So now, unless this break even is breached here or here, we're not going to add another straddle. Now remember, the second method is very capital intensive because we are adding another straddle in that case. So keep that in mind. So here remember that you have to exit if your stop loss is hit with this method, and it will happen some or the other time when the stock or the option, the market moves strong in one direction. Now if you remember here again, our 25% target would have hit already. I forgot to show you that part. If we have used 15,000 as our I'm not sure if you have hit, but I'll just want to check. Oh no, wait. Okay, no, we didn't hit. Okay, we are getting close. Okay, here you already hit your, if you are using 25%, you already hit here. So you could have exited. This is what I call as early management of straddles, is to exit when you have 25% of max profit. Okay, now we have almost reached our this break even. So now what we can do is simply add another straddle. So when we add that another straddle, always add above this strike price. I mean underlying price. So in this case, we can use 15,300, okay, or 15,200. It's up to you. So let's say we add 15,200 straddle. Okay, so here we breached our short strike again. So at this point of time, we have to again add one more straddle, or just now we almost reached our time stop loss here. Yeah, on Friday. So we can exit here. So as you can see, there are two different strategies, and both were in profit, but the other one had a little bit more profit the first adjustment. And maybe we can hold it for one more day, and you get around 7,000. That's it. That is with the second option. Now let's see what happens if you do the both adjustments in the April month, where it was very sideways, right? Let's see how it behaves. So 29th April, and in the March on the Friday before the expiry. So we choose this thing. Okay, so we will do the second method in this case. Yeah. Okay. So we are not going to touch this unless the break even is touched. See, we would have done an adjustment if we were using the first method. But here, since we are not going to touch till our break even is breached, We are just going to leave it as it is. Always remember that you will always have this open gap risk, open up or open down gap risk. See, here this advantage that we will have some more patience if you use the second method, and we should be able to see this kind of profits if you use the second method. But the risk is here is that if something happens and market moves via gap up or gap down, then you can be in trouble if you are using this method. But if we use the 25 delta positional breach, there we have to do the adjustment, but we might be a little bit safer than using this method, because there we would have some more room on the downside or on the upside to adjust or to recover from the underlying movement. Okay, so we do the same thing now with the first method. So and see what happens. Okay, 14,800. So we adjust when there is a positional breach of 25 delta in this case. Okay. So as you can see here, okay, next. Here 41 delta. So here we have to adjust. So we adjust our call 209. And then we roll down our call strike. So should be 14,300. Okay. So now again on the other side, now this has breached. So now we have to roll up our put this thing. So 296.35. Now it should be above 14,900. So if we choose 15,000 strike. Okay. So we'll only adjust only if this short strike is breached. So again, we already got 25% here. See, we are able to withstand such huge moves because we have expanded our. See, we are already now it's more than 50% also. So there is no reason to stay, right? You all actually we are actually close to expiry now. So if we had to exit our time-based exit on 26th April, we are sitting on 22. While in the case of the other strategy, other adjustment, we were almost at 44,000. So as you can see, two different adjustment methods and two different risk profiles and two different profit zones, and we have two different P&Ls. So depending on how you want to manage your straddles, you can choose any of those adjustment methods. So I personally choose 25 delta, but it's totally up to you which one you want to use. Okay, folks, that's all from us. Thank you.